billionaires. Only with them, it's with food. A French person uses 4,000 liters of water a day. For a basic steak, taking into consideration the water used to irrigate the corn eaten by the beast, it will have taken 2,000 liters of water before it reaches my plate. Another example, my cotton t-shirt, from the cotton fields to the factory, costs 7,000 liters of water. For our electricity, it takes 400 liters a day for each French man and woman. For what we use daily, it's a huge amount of water. That is what we call virtual water, but this water is unfortunately real. It's crazy how much water there is around. Look, we're in the middle of the desert, and it looks like marshland, an unbelievable waste of water. It's important to remember, we're in the middle of the desert. There are no rivers nor lakes, so where's the water coming from to cultivate these huge areas? The water which irrigates all this cultivation is under my feet. It is a nappe phreatic layer. Unfortunately, this layer doesn't have enough time to regenerate because it's fossil water. Man is wasting within 10 years what took millions of years to create. But do the Jordanians have much choice? They're lacking water and already import 97% of their cereals. The nappe phreatic layers being wasted here, elsewhere, are being polluted. And it's especially being wasted here, elsewhere, are being polluted. And it's especially true in Gaza, Palestine, where the conflict with Israel diminishes the quality of fresh water.
Gaza, a small strip of narrow land in the southwest of Israel. With more than 3,200 inhabitants per square kilometre, it has one of the densest populations in the world. Pumped from polluted groundwater, 90% of the tap water is unsuitable for consumption. A catastrophe which is responsible for hundreds of deaths each year. Dr. Younis Moghir delivers the results of the analysis.
The disease could be direct from the surface water, is a cholera, is a typhoid, which is as a result of the nitrate increment in the groundwater.
Taking into account the increase in population, Gaza can no longer manage to treat its wastewater. This is what we found 2 kilometers from the town centre. This is where the sewage from the town's northern neighbourhoods is dumped. Only 1/3 of the wastewater discharged into the water purification plant is treated.
We can see here is the suspended solid, which is originally part of the pollution inside the wastewater. After treatment, it's going to that very big lake, and that water in that lake infiltrate naturally to the groundwater and increase the pollution, the chemicals such as the nitrate in the groundwater.
This pollution has a direct effect on health. Yusuf, Maja and their 2 children live in the very poor neighborhood of the Canyoons.
مش محتاج المية هذه يعني الله يعني والله يمدوها للبهايم اللي هي البهايم ما بتشربها. يعني صابرين ما فيش في ايدنا حاجة نسوي عليهم. ليش بدنا نعمل لنا حاجة عشان قصة المية؟ ريحنا راسنا على قصة ايش الفلتر وكنا على التحلية. ندب قلان ونيجي، أما قصة المية والله مستحيل يعني بنستخدمها صرنا الحين لمدة بس غسيل. نغسل ايدينا نغسل أواعينا هذا بس قصة المية.
A few weeks ago, little Marwan had a kidney operation. His crying and sleepless nights alerted his parents. But Marwan is still not completely healed. Today, he has an appointment for new kidney x-rays. Dr. Al-Bata will have to operate a second time.
But he have now pain in left kidney. وهنا في القاع هنا كمان في حصوة تحت هنا. حصوتين كبار طبعا في داخل الكلية. نعم. هذول طبعا بينزلوش إلا إيش؟ حصاوي صلبة هذه.
These kidney stones are due to dehydration and the level of salt in Gaza's water supply. A whole generation of young Palestinians are threatened. In addition, the overexploited groundwater is being invaded by seawater, and the tap water comes directly from there. Too high in salt, it causes major kidney failure. Many decontamination plans have been thought up by the Palestinian authorities, but every time work stumbles due to conflict with Israel. The solution requires the building of new infrastructures.
This project is funded by USAID, and the project consists of a national carrier, and the carrier transmits the water from the desalination plant, which will be constructed inside Gaza Strip, not outside from Gaza Strip.
The desalination plant the Palestinians dream of does exist, but in Israel, in Ashkelon, a few kilometers north of the Gaza Strip. It is capable of supplying hundreds of millions of cubic meters of water per year. 1 Israeli out of 7 consumes water from this plant. Even if this technology is greedy in energy, every year it consumes 75 million liters of oil. It remains the only foreseeable solution for Gaza. Some of this water, about 5 million cubic meters, goes every year to Gaza for humanitarian reasons. It is totally insufficient because the real needs are 10 times higher. Even with the resumption of international aid, more than €1 billion are needed to resolve the drinking water problem in this small part of the world.
On Earth, 1 person out of 5 doesn't have access to healthy water. I would like to remind you that in France, 2/3 of our rivers and groundwater are polluted. But we do have the means to make it drinkable. We are in Wadi Foukin, on the West Bank. This village fascinates me. It was created 300 years ago by 2 families who negotiated the sharing of water and lands. 300 years later, there are 1,200 inhabitants who are still doing the same thing. This system has worked for 3 centuries. Today, this Palestinian village is threatened by an Israeli development which surrounds it. The buildings and tar roads prevents water infiltration and the replenishment of the spring. But there's worse. These newcomers eject their used water into the cultivated valley.
Look around you, you can see over there the massive development of new building. This new building is part of expansion of a Jewish settlement in the West Bank named Beitar Elit. And the expansion of this settlement and massive development in the small watershed cover the area with road, parking lots, and sealed surfaces that prevents the water to reach the spring.
But why, as an Israeli, are you protecting the interests of this village?
First of all, I'm neighbor to these people, and I'm a professional hydrologist. So therefore, I felt that I have the option to make a change and help these people in their struggle. But beside of that, I think it's a human being contact. We all care to each other. We're all living in the same land and in the same region. And I don't see there is a way that in one hand you got people that have no power, neglecting of any kind of hold on their future. I feel that only by personal struggle and only by personal contact between people, we can make change and influence the decision maker and the processes here.
A simple conflict of interests? Maybe. But think about the problem on a different scale, which brings countries into conflict, not only villages. And you have the recipe for a possible war for water. But with some effort, we can avoid it.
Hi, Abu Mazen.
Alan.
Bonjour, monsieur. This is Abu Mazen, my friend, community leader, and a respectable farmer of Wadi Foukin village.
Is there still the same amount of water, or is the water decreasing? Is there less, or the same as it was before?
المياه نقصت لسبب واضح إنه اليهود حوالينا بيفجروا التفجيرات بيسووا تفجيرات في الجبال وبيبنوا على رؤوس الجبال وبالتالي المياه.
Could selling your products to the colony be a solution?
إحنا بنزرع الكسا، بنزرع خيار، بندورة، باذنجان، فلفل، كرع، في خيار مثلا، يقطين، العنب بنزرعه كمان، شجرة العنب، ونزرع كل الخضرة هذه بالإضافة كمان لأشجار بنزرع، احنا كمان نزرع أشجار. هلا بالنسبة للبيع مع المستوطنين احنا ما بنبيع مع المستوطنين ولا بنتعامل ولا بأي شكل من الأشكال معهم.
What do you think about Lior's work around here?
ممتاز. يعني قدم كل ومير لخا تدربا التام كل حفريم شلخا بتدربا تدربا.
But the solution seems simple. If Israelis buy fruit and vegetables from the Palestinians, it would stop the pollution. As always, we don't share. And this fight is also the fight of a woman I admire, Danielle Mitterrand. We follow her to an amazing place in Brazil, Minas Gerais. It's a natural paradise, the source of 2 rivers, and she wants to protect it from covetous eyes.
Here, water spurts up from the ground, and along its way, this water nourishes the most populated regions of Brazil. More than 60 million inhabitants depend upon it. For the Brazilians, these water sources are a treasure to be protected. They call them Brazil's water tower. For 20 years, Danielle Mitterrand, as the head of her foundation, has been defending the rights of oppressed people. A commitment which today she considers to be useless if man has no access to water. At 82 years old, she's putting a lot of effort into this new fight.
Je suis plus très jeune. Je continue à agir, et quelquefois c'est difficile, c'est dur pour moi, physiquement, mais je le fais, vous savez, pour rire souvent je dis, il faut pédaler, si on ne pédale pas le vélo tombe. Eh bien, aussi longtemps que je pourrai maîtriser mes fatigues et aller de l'avant, je le ferai.
She intervened as a matter of urgency. 2 multinationals wanted to bottle this water. Further south, a similar project has almost entirely dried up the groundwater. Danielle Mitterrand alerted UNESCO. They listened to her and classified this region as a biosphere reserve, which prevents any marketing.
Quand on dit aujourd'hui l'eau est une marchandise, nous on dit non, l'eau n'est pas une marchandise. C'est une partie intégrante de notre propre corps, de l'existence de la Terre. On ne vend pas la vie. Or l'eau, c'est la vie.
This water will not be bottled, but another danger looms. A danger linked to the Earth's resources. Here, minerals abound which enrich the water. A phenomenon strengthened by the region's incredible biodiversity, and which gives the water an exceptional quality when it comes out of the mountain, filtered by the rocks. But this land, so rich in minerals, is also rich in ore. This has always been Brazil's main mining region. This is where we find one of the biggest iron mines in the world, also one of the most polluting. The main danger for all the waters of the region.
J'ai la sensation de me trouver devant une plaie ouverte qu'on inflige à la terre. Là, on a l'impression d'être dans une espèce de furoncle malsain, cancéreux, qui sournoisement pollue tout l'environnement de cette région.
An open wound, but also the main economy of the Minas Gerais. For 70 years, the town of Itabira has grown alongside the mine. When the iron ore is extracted, the waste is discharged in the form of mud full of heavy metals, which infiltrate the groundwater and pollute it. The result? Towns downhill from the mine have to purify their water to make it drinkable.
Vous savez, quand je parle de l'eau, moi je dis tout le temps, comme on n'aura plus d'eau potable,